There are places in this world that whisper of forgotten times, civilizations that rose to unimaginable heights, only to vanish without a trace, cities buried beneath the earth, monuments too advanced for their age, stories etched into stone that challenge everything we think we know about history. The more we dig into history, the more we find things that don't make sense, ancient sites that defy explanation, underwater cities that shouldn't exist, maps that suggest a lost age of exploration. If civilizations have risen and fallen long before recorded history, what does that mean for our past? And more importantly, what does it mean for our future? In part 2, we'll go even deeper, exploring lost technologies, impossible artifacts, and the unsettling possibility that we may not be the first advanced civilization to walk this earth. So stay tuned and prepare to question everything. For centuries, we've been told a simple story, that human civilization followed a linear path, from primitive hunter-gatherers to small agricultural villages to the great cities of Mesopotamia, Egypt, and Rome. That progress was slow, steady, and predictable. But what if that isn't the full story? What if entire civilizations once existed, thriving for thousands of years, only to be wiped from history, leaving behind nothing but strange anomalies that modern science still struggles to explain? Tonight, we're stepping beyond the boundaries of conventional archaeology. We're diving into the greatest mysteries of the ancient world, tales of lost knowledge, impossible architecture, and unexplained artifacts that suggest history may not be as simple as we've been told. So sit back, relax, and let's begin. If ancient civilizations did exist, is there any record of them? The answer might lie in something shocking: maps that shouldn't exist. One of the most famous is the Piri Reis map, drawn in 1513. This map, created by an Ottoman admiral, shows something that should have been impossible: a detailed coastline of South America, long before it was fully explored. Even more mysteriously, it depicts Antarctica without ice. Scientists today know that under Antarctica's ice sheets, there is a hidden continent with mountains, valleys, and rivers. But how could a 16th century mapmaker have known this, unless he was copying something far older? Another example is the Boache map, which also shows Antarctica's true landmass. Could these maps be fragments of knowledge from an ancient seafaring civilization, one that existed thousands of years before history begins? And if they did, there are places in this world that defy explanation. Ancient structures too massive to be moved with primitive tools, mysterious artifacts that challenge what we think we know about history, and entire civilizations that vanished without a trace. These aren't myths or legends. These are real, documented mysteries that archaeologists and historians still struggle to understand. How were they built? Who made them? And perhaps the most unsettling question of all, what else is still out there, waiting to be found? From colossal stone blocks no modern crane could lift, to civilizations buried beneath the ocean, today we're diving deep into some of the strangest unsolved mysteries of the ancient world. So sit back, relax, grab a snack, and let's jump into the mysteries where history itself seems to break apart. Baalbek is one of those places that seems to defy explanation. Nestled in modern-day Lebanon, this ancient site is famous for its towering Roman temples, built to honor Jupiter, Venus, and Bacchus. But as impressive as those ruins are, they sit on something far older, something far stranger: the Baalbek megaliths. These stones are impossibly massive. The largest among them, known as the Trilithon, consists of 3 limestone blocks, each weighing between 800 and 1,000 tons. They are placed perfectly, stacked 12 meters above the ground with no visible mortar, as if they were gently lowered into place. But the real mystery is the stone of the pregnant woman, an even larger block weighing an estimated 1,200 tons. It still lies abandoned in the quarry, seemingly carved and ready to be moved, except no one knows how that could have been possible. Theories about how these stones were transported and placed range from conventional to controversial. The mainstream belief is that the Romans were responsible. After all, they were master builders, constructing aqueducts, temples, and roads that have stood for thousands of years. Some historians suggest that they had the means to move the megaliths using cranes, pulleys, and sheer manpower. But there's a problem with this explanation. No known Roman engineering feats come close to moving stones of this size. Even their most advanced construction projects never attempted to lift anything close to 1,000 tons. It's as if they built their temples on top of something far older. That's why some researchers believe Baalbek predates the Romans entirely. Some accounts suggest that the site was originally built by the Phoenicians, an ancient maritime civilization that once ruled the Mediterranean. Others push the timeline even further back, claiming that the site is pre-Phoenician, meaning it could be thousands of years older than recorded history suggests. If true, that would mean a lost civilization, not Rome, was responsible for moving these stones. But if that's the case, who were they? And more importantly, how did they do it? There are those who believe Baalbek was built using a lost form of ancient technology. Perhaps the builders had an advanced understanding of counterweights, pressure manipulation, or even sound frequencies that could make heavy objects easier to move. Some speculate that the answer lies in forgotten techniques, methods of construction that have been erased by time, lost before they could ever be written down. If we knew how they did it, what else might we discover about the ancient world? And then, there's the most controversial theory of all, that Baalbek's stones were moved with the help of something beyond human ability. Ancient astronaut theorists have pointed to the sheer size and impossible precision of the megaliths, suggesting that Baalbek may have once been a landing site for extraterrestrial visitors. Some believe that its position, its alignment, and its construction indicate that it was more than just a temple. It was something older, something built for a purpose we don't yet understand. There's no solid evidence for this, but the idea has persisted for decades. What we do know is this: no one has ever successfully explained how these stones were moved. They remain one of the greatest engineering puzzles of the ancient world. If a civilization thousands of years ago had the capability to transport and position them, what else were they capable of? And what other secrets could still be hidden beneath the ruins of Baalbek? But Baalbek isn't the only mystery that forces us to rethink what we know about history. The past is filled with impossible artifacts, things that shouldn't exist, but do. And next, we move to one of the most debated pieces of evidence ever discovered, a 16th century map that appears to show Antarctica without ice. Before we dive into the next mystery, just a quick note. While the visuals in this video will provide extra context, they aren't necessary to enjoy the stories. Feel free to let all across the world, there are structures so massive, so precise, that they seem impossible for ancient civilizations to have built. Take the Baalbek megaliths in Lebanon. At the base of the ruins of a Roman temple lie 3 limestone blocks, each weighing an estimated 800 to 1,200 tons. That's the equivalent of 5 Boeing 747 airplanes per stone. Even with today's modern cranes, we would struggle to move them. So how were they transported and stacked so perfectly? Years ago, some historians claim the Romans built on top of an even older foundation, one that may predate recorded history. But if that's the case, who built it? And more importantly, how? Because Baalbek isn't the only place where history doesn't add up. In Peru, at a site called Sacsayhuaman, massive stone walls have been built with blocks so precisely cut that they fit together without mortar, so tight that a razor blade can't pass between them. Some of these stones weigh over 100 tons, yet they were transported across rugged mountains and valleys. Even more strangely, the stones aren't uniform. They fit together in a puzzle-like pattern, as if the builders had a level of precision that even modern engineers would struggle to replicate. How did ancient civilizations carve, shape, and transport these massive stones? And even more intriguingly, what happened to this knowledge? If ancient civilizations had advanced construction techniques, is it possible they also understood energy and electricity in ways we don't fully comprehend? One of the most controversial artifacts ever discovered is the Baghdad Battery, a clay jar found in modern-day Iraq, dating back to over 2,000 years ago. Inside, it contains a copper cylinder and an iron rod, separated by what appears to have once been an acidic liquid, like vinegar or lemon juice. And here's the strange part. This simple device could have functioned as a primitive battery. When tested, replicas of the Baghdad Battery produced an electrical charge. Was this an early power source? And if so, what was it used for? Some theorists suggest it may have been used for electroplating, a technique for coating objects in thin layers of gold or silver. But others believe it could be evidence of a deeper understanding of electricity, one that has been lost to time. Could the ancients have used electricity in ways we don't yet understand? And if so, how advanced were they really? The more we study ancient civilizations, the more we realize how much we don't know. They built monuments we can't explain. They created artifacts we can't replicate. And they may have understood forces of nature we are only now beginning to rediscover. What if history isn't as simple as we've been told? What if ancient civilizations were far more advanced than we ever imagined? And most importantly, what happened to them? In part 3, we'll take this mystery even further, exploring out-of-place artifacts, unexplainable ancient texts, and bizarre discoveries that challenge everything we think we know. So stay tuned, because the deeper we dig, the stranger history becomes. There are things in this world that shouldn't exist, artifacts too advanced for their time, engineering feats that defy logic, and structures built with techniques that even modern science can't fully explain. History tells us that ancient civilizations built with simple tools, chisels, hammers, and crude machines powered by human strength. But what if that isn't the full story? What if some ancient cultures possessed knowledge that has been lost to time, secrets of construction, energy, and even physics that we're only beginning to rediscover? Tonight, we're venturing into the mysteries of lost technology, from megalithic stones that modern cranes can't lift, to artifacts that hint at a level of sophistication we never expected. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the greatest technological enigmas of the ancient world. No ancient structure has generated more mystery than the Great Pyramid of Giza. For centuries, it was assumed to be nothing more than a grand tomb, but the more we study it, the more strange anomalies emerge. For starters, the pyramid's dimensions are mathematically precise, aligning almost perfectly with the Earth's cardinal directions. The internal chambers of the pyramid have been found to have unusual electromagnetic properties, with some researchers suggesting that they could have once functioned as part of an energy-generating system. Even stranger, at the top of the pyramid, no mummified pharaoh was ever found. Was the Great Pyramid something more than a tomb? Was it an ancient energy machine, harnessing forces we still don't fully understand? Or does it hide something even greater beneath its foundations? In recent years, advanced scanning technology has revealed hidden chambers within the pyramid, rooms that have remained unexplored for thousands of years. What lies inside them? And could they hold the final key to unlocking the secrets of Egypt's lost technologies? In the quarries of Aswan, Egypt, lies something unusual, an enormous obelisk, partially carved but mysteriously abandoned. If completed, it would have been the largest single stone ever transported, weighing over 1,200 tons. But here's where the mystery deepens. The tool, marks on the obelisk, don't match simple chisels. Instead, they suggest something more advanced, something that was cutting through granite with precision and speed. Modern engineers struggle to explain how such massive stones were carved, shaped, and moved. Some have even suggested that the ancient Egyptians may have possessed a form of lost high-energy tool technology, capable of slicing through stone with ease. But if they did, where did that knowledge go? Did they lose it over time? Or was it deliberately erased from history? Containing thousands of scrolls and texts from across the ancient world, it was said to hold secrets of science, medicine, and even lost civilizations. But in the 3rd century, it was burned down, and with it, an untold amount of knowledge was lost forever. Or was it? Some historians believe that a portion of its books survived, hidden away by secret orders or stored in underground vaults. There are even legends of lost libraries in Timbuktu, China, and South America, holding ancient wisdom that has yet to be rediscovered. What if the truth about humanity's past is still out there, locked away, waiting to be found? The deeper we look, the more history begins to break apart. Artifacts that predate humanity, maps that show the impossible, texts that speak of forgotten civilizations. Are these just coincidences? Or are they evidence of a past far greater than we've been told? In Part 4, we'll go even deeper into the forbidden theories that some believe explain these anomalies. From ancient lost civilizations to the possibility that human history is far older than we ever imagined. Because the more we uncover, the less we truly understand. There are things buried in the earth that don't belong, objects that predate the civilizations that supposedly created them, tools made with impossible precision, and ancient texts that describe events thousands of years before they happened. These are called out-of-place artifacts, mysterious objects that defy what we know about history. Some have been dismissed as hoaxes, others labeled mistakes, but a handful remain unexplained. What if everything we've been taught about human civilization is only a fraction of the truth? What if lost knowledge, ancient visitors, or forgotten civilizations once walked this planet and left behind clues we're only now beginning to understand? Imagine digging into the earth and finding an object that shouldn't be there, a tool older than recorded history, a machine part embedded in solid rock, or a map that shows continents before they were discovered. These aren't myths or legends. They're real artifacts, evidence of something more. Let's start with the discovery that changed everything, the moment an ancient hammer was found inside solid rock. In 1934, near the small town of London, Texas, a family stumbled upon something bizarre. Embedded in a limestone rock formation, they found a hammer, an ordinary-looking tool, with a wooden handle and a metal head. But the problem was the rock itself. It was dated to be over 400 million years old. Scientists dismissed the claim, suggesting the hammer must have somehow become embedded over time. But the real mystery was the metal composition. The hammer's head was made of 96% iron, so pure that it shouldn't have been possible with ancient metallurgy. If the dating was accurate, the hammer predated not only human civilization, but the existence of dinosaurs. Who made it? And more importantly, how did it end up inside rock that should have taken millions of years to form? Then there's the discovery of an object that should not exist, a mechanical device so advanced that it looks like something out of the modern era. Found in 1901 off the coast of Greece, the Antikythera mechanism was unlike anything archaeologists had ever seen. Discovered inside an ancient shipwreck, it was a highly complex clockwork device containing gears, dials, and intricate calculations. When researchers studied it, they realized it was an astronomical computer capable of predicting the positions of planets, eclipses, and even lunar cycles. Here's where it gets strange. It was built over 2,000 years ago. Nothing else from that time period comes close to its level of mechanical precision. it took over 1,500 years for humanity to build anything as advanced. How did the ancient Greeks develop this technology? And if they had such advanced mechanical knowledge, what else might they have built? Things that were lost to time. But lost knowledge isn't just found in artifacts. It's written in ancient texts, manuscripts, and inscriptions that speak of events that shouldn't have been known at the time. One of the strangest examples is the Piri Reis map, drawn in 1513 by an Ottoman admiral. The map was discovered in the Topkapi Palace in Istanbul, and at first glance, it seemed ordinary, until experts realized something astonishing. It accurately depicted the coastlines of South America and Antarctica before either continent had been properly explored. But that's not even the most shocking part. Antarctica's coastline, shown in the Piri Reis map, wasn't just drawn centuries before its official discovery. It was depicted without ice. This suggests the map's information was based on knowledge from thousands of years before the last ice age, long before civilization as we know it. Where did this information come from? And was it possible that ancient civilizations had mapped the world long before modern explorers? But sometimes, discoveries aren't just hidden in artifacts or maps. Sometimes, they're carved into stone, warning us of things we can't explain. Deep in the Cambodian jungle stands Angkor Wat, one of the largest and most mysterious temple complexes in the world. Built in the 12th century, its stone carvings depict gods, warriors, and celestial events. But among them is something that shouldn't be there: a carving of a stegosaurus. How did an ancient civilization, over 800 years ago, carve something that was only discovered by paleontologists in the 19th century? Skeptics argue that the carving could be a misinterpretation, but the resemblance is uncanny, complete with plates along its back, just like a real stegosaurus. Did ancient civilizations have knowledge of creatures we believe to be extinct for millions of years? Or is there something deeper we're missing, an untold history that challenges everything we know? And then there are the stories, whispers from the past about knowledge so powerful, so dangerous, that it was hidden away or destroyed. The Library of Alexandria was once the greatest collection of human knowledge ever assembled. There's another question that skeptics refuse to ask. If these lost civilizations existed, could they have had technologies or knowledge that we don't fully understand today? Take the Great Pyramid of Giza. For decades, Egyptologists believed it was simply a grand tomb for Pharaoh Khufu. But the more we study it, the more puzzling it becomes. The pyramid is aligned almost perfectly with true north, something that would have required an advanced understanding of astronomy. It's also built with staggering precision, with some of its blocks weighing 70 tons and transported over vast distances. But the strangest part? No records exist of how it was built, no blueprints, no construction notes. It's as if the knowledge simply disappeared. Could the ancient Egyptians, or the civilizations before them, have possessed lost engineering techniques that we no longer understand? Or is there something more mysterious at play? Some researchers believe that lost civilizations may have understood sound frequencies, anti-gravity, or even energy manipulation to move massive stones. These ideas remain highly controversial. But what if our ancestors weren't primitive at all? What if they were more advanced than we assume? And if that's the case, where did their knowledge go? Around 12,800 years ago, something catastrophic happened on Earth. The planet, which had been warming after the last ice age, was suddenly thrown back into a deep freeze. Global temperatures plummeted. Mega floods carved through landscapes. Massive wildfires raged across continents. And then, entire species vanished. This period is known as the Younger Dryas, and scientists still struggle to explain what caused it. But in recent years, a controversial theory has gained traction. The idea that Earth was struck by fragments of a massive comet. According to this theory, a series of cosmic impacts triggered devastating climate changes, wiping out megafauna like the woolly mammoth and causing massive floods that drowned entire civilizations. The evidence: in North America, scientists have found a layer of blackened Earth filled with microscopic nanodiamonds, something only found in impact events. Similar layers exist across Europe, Africa, and South America. But here's where things get even stranger. Ancient myths from cultures all over the world speak of a great flood, a catastrophic deluge that nearly wiped out humanity. The story of Noah's Ark in the Bible, the Sumerian epic of Gilgamesh, the Aztec and Mayan legends of a world swallowed by water. Are these just coincidences? Or were they different accounts of the same event, a real disaster that nearly reset civilization? If true, then human history didn't begin with Mesopotamia, Egypt, or the Indus Valley. It may have started long before that, with advanced cultures that were erased by catastrophe, leaving only fragments behind. Throughout history, we've been told a version of the past that fits neatly within the boundaries of what we think is possible. But as we've explored in this series, there are far too many anomalies to ignore. Lost civilizations, unexplained artifacts, and megalithic structures too massive to be moved with primitive tools. All of these things suggest that history is far older, far more advanced, and far stranger than we ever imagined. And that brings us to our final journey, the strangest megalithic sites on Earth. These are places that defy explanation, that challenge the limits of what we think ancient humans were capable of. Some are so precise, so impossible by our modern understanding, that they raise a disturbing question. What if we've been wrong about everything? So sit back, relax, and let's take one last deep dive into the mysteries of our forgotten past. The more we study ancient civilizations, the more we realize how much we don't know. They built monuments we can't explain. They created artifacts we can't replicate. And they may have understood forces of nature we are only now beginning to rediscover. What if history isn't as simple as we've been told? What if ancient civilizations were far more advanced than we ever imagined? And most importantly, what happened to them? In part 3, we'll take this mystery even further, exploring out-of-place artifacts, unexplainable ancient texts, and bizarre discoveries that challenge everything we think we know. So stay tuned, because the deeper we dig, the stranger history becomes. The idea that highly advanced civilizations may have existed before recorded history is not new. Stories of lost worlds have been passed down for generations, through myths, ancient texts, and even religious scriptures. One of the most famous is Atlantis, described by the Greek philosopher Plato as an advanced society that thrived thousands of years before his time. Atlantis, he wrote, was a powerful maritime civilization, rich in knowledge and technology. It had grand palaces, intricate canals, and a mastery of engineering that surpassed even the great empires of the ancient world. And then, it was gone. According to Plato, Atlantis was swallowed by the sea in a single day and night, leaving behind only legends. For centuries, scholars debated whether Atlantis was real or simply a metaphor. But modern discoveries have made some question whether Plato's account was based on something real. Beneath the ocean floor, archaeologists have discovered sunken cities, entire settlements lost to time, many dating back far earlier than we believed civilization existed. Take Dwarka, India, for example. Off the coast of Gujarat, divers found the ruins of a vast city submerged deep in the sea. According to ancient Hindu texts, this was once the kingdom of Lord Krishna, a magnificent metropolis that eventually sank beneath the waves. But here's what's truly astonishing. The structures found underwater date back over 9,000 years. That's older than the Egyptian pyramids, older than Stonehenge, older than what we thought was possible. If these civilizations existed, how advanced were they, and why did they disappear? Some researchers believe a great cataclysm wiped them out, a disaster so massive that it erased nearly all traces of early civilizations. And that brings us to one of the most debated ideas in archaeology, the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis. All over the world, ancient ruins lie beneath the waves, cities that existed long before history says they should have. Take Yonaguni, for example. Off the coast of Japan, divers discovered a massive underwater structure with perfectly carved staircases, platforms, and even what appears to be a massive stone temple. Some geologists argue it's just a natural formation, but others, including marine archaeologists, believe this is a lost civilization, one that existed before the last ice age, when sea levels were much lower. If that's true, then human civilization didn't start 5,000 years ago. It started far, far earlier, and that leads us to the biggest question of all. In the remote Pacific, on the tiny island of Pohnpei, lies a place that historians can't explain, the mysterious ruins of Nan Madol. Unlike any other ancient city, Nan Madol was built on water, an intricate network of over 100 artificial islands connected by canals and constructed using massive basalt pillars. Some of these stones weigh over 50 tons. But here's the real mystery. No one knows who built it or how. Nan Madol dates back over 1,000 years, but local legends say the site was built with the help of supernatural forces, that the stones were transported through the air using a mysterious energy. Of course, historians dismiss this as myth, but the real question remains: how did an ancient island civilization with no access to modern engineering construct a floating city out of megalithic stones? And if they had knowledge we don't understand, what else might they have known? Could there be more lost cities beneath the ocean, hidden away from history? Because what we're about to discuss next could change everything. For centuries, historians have built a timeline of human civilization, one that traces our rise from primitive hunter-gatherers to the architects of modern society. But what if that timeline is wrong? What if humanity's past is far older, stranger, and more advanced than we've been led to believe? What if civilization has risen and fallen before, not just once, but multiple times? Ancient structures, lost technologies, and unexplained artifacts all seem to hint at a forgotten chapter in our history. But mainstream scholars often dismiss these anomalies as misinterpretations, exaggerations, or even hoaxes. Yet, the evidence continues to grow. Tonight, we're diving into the most controversial theories about our past, the ideas that challenge everything we think we know. So sit back, relax, and let's unravel the mysteries of lost civilizations, ancient cataclysms, and the possibility that human history is far older than we imagined. All over the world, ancient ruins lie beneath the waves, cities that existed long before history says they should have. Take Yonaguni, for example. Off the coast of Japan, divers discovered a massive underwater structure with perfectly carved staircases, platforms, and even what appears to be a massive stone temple. Some geologists argue it's just a natural formation, but others, including marine archaeologists, believe this is a lost civilization, one that existed before the last ice age, when sea levels were much lower. If that's true, then human civilization didn't start 5,000 years ago. It started far, far earlier, and that leads us to the biggest question of all. Some of the most radical ideas about ancient history suggest that humanity's past is even stranger than we can imagine. Some believe that an earlier, highly advanced civilization once existed, but was wiped out, leaving only fragments behind. Others suggest that ancient texts, such as the Sumerian writings, hint at knowledge passed down from beings outside of Earth, a theory dismissed by mainstream scholars, but still debated among alternative researchers. And then there's the question no one dares to ask. What else is out there, still waiting to be discovered? Because if history has taught us anything, it's that the past is never as simple as it seems. In Part 5, we'll push the boundaries even further, exploring the strangest, most unexplained megalithic sites around the world. From structures that seem too advanced for their time to ruins that defy logic, we'll uncover the places where history itself seems to break apart. Because sometimes the truth is hidden in plain sight. High in the Peruvian Andes, just outside of Cusco, lies one of the most baffling ancient sites in the world, Sacsayhuaman. At first glance, it might look like just another Incan ruin, but take a closer look at the massive stone walls, and you'll realize this isn't normal construction. The stones are gigantic, some weighing up to 200 tons, and they fit together with such extreme precision that you can't even slide a razor blade between them. No mortar, no cement, just perfect interlocking stones, as if they were molded like clay. But here's where it gets even stranger. The stones aren't just stacked on top of each other, they're carved into complex interlocking shapes, some with over 12 angles that fit seamlessly together. Mainstream archaeologists believe the Incas built this site, but there's one massive problem. The Incas didn't have the tools to cut these stones. Their technology was limited to bronze and copper chisels, materials far too soft to shape the incredibly hard andesite rock found at Sacsayhuaman. So how did they do it? Some researchers believe the Incas may have inherited the site from a far older civilization, one that had access to advanced stone-cutting techniques that have since been lost. And if that's true, then it means our timeline of human civilization is wrong. But Sacsayhuaman is just the beginning. Let's head across the ocean to a place where the very laws of construction seem to break down. As we've explored in this journey through ancient mysteries, the evidence suggests that human history is not what we've been told. Massive megalithic structures, lost technologies, and unexplained artifacts all hint at the same possibility. There was a civilization before ours, one that was capable of moving massive stones, one that may have understood energy, sound, or construction techniques that we can't replicate today, one that may have been wiped out by disaster, leaving only scattered remnants behind. And here's where it gets truly mind-blowing. What if civilization has risen and fallen multiple times? What if human history isn't a straight line, but a cycle? We see it in myths, we see it in lost cities, and we see it in the ruins that no one can explain. Mainstream historians will continue to dismiss these ideas, but the truth is, there are still too many unanswered questions. And if history has taught us anything, it's that the past is never as simple as we think. Because somewhere out there, beneath the ocean, buried in the jungle, or hidden in the sands of time, there are still more mysteries waiting to be discovered. And maybe, just maybe, one day we'll find the answers. But for now, the past remains an enigma. And with that, we conclude our deep dive into the greatest ancient mysteries that science still can't explain. But remember, this is only what we know so far. Who knows what secrets are still waiting to be uncovered? The truth might be closer than we think.